Um, so today we're on Musical.ly. Welcome to the Saturday morning live. If you hear any background music, that's just, some stuff. I gotta sneeze. For some reason I gotta sneeze. Like, I really have to say it. I'm just cleaning up some stuff. Like, so, if I'm quiet, it's actually really early in the morning. I was cleaning up from my previous video, doing some cleanup. Like, it's just doing a little bit of it, not like full on, like, I need to clean up this, I need to clean up everything, just like a slight pile of stuff that you can't touch. That's how I clean. It's actually not really clean. And I'm gonna clean that. I can't even tell who it's that difficult. Like, most people can tell who they are. This is horrible. If you can't tell, I'm actually reading Unicorn Lazy. I can't. It's actually musically for you guys. Yeah. We're on Musical.ly for a reason.
Because guess what, Judy? You're basic.
Why you mad?
Because guess... Because guess what, Judy? You're basic.
Why you mad?
Because guess what, Judy? Because guess what, Judy? You're basic.
Why you mad?
Because guess what, Judy? You're basic. Because guess what, Judy? You're basic.
Why you mad?
Because guess what, Judy? Because guess what, Judy? Because guess what, Judy? You're basic.
Why you mad?
Because guess what, Judy? You're basic.
Why you mad?
Because guess what, Judy? You're basic.
Why you mad?
Because You're basic.
Why you mad? Why you mad?
Because guess what, Cheaty? You're basic.
Why you mad? Why you
Angry
mad?
because I'm called cheat. I'm actually uploading right now.
Because guess what, Cheaty? You're
You're
basic.
basic. Why you mad? Why you mad? Why you mad? Yeah, I already deleted it. No, I didn't. You guys can't watch this because it's private policy. It is private policy. Yeah, so you guys can't watch that. But I am uploading. Happy weekend. This is Saturday morning live. I'm just gonna show you this. This is awesome. I'm gonna watch myself live. But I am uploading. Happy weekend. This is Saturday morning live. I'm just gonna show you this. This is awesome. I'm watching myself. I'm gonna watch myself live. But I am uploading. Oh my god, I'm watching myself live. This is Saturday morning live. I'm gonna watch myself live. But I am uploading. Oh my god.
Hey guys, and today I'll be showing you guys how to make a squishy without foam, and this was highly requested. So squishies are technically supposed to be foam, be used kind of like an adjective, like this thing is a squishy toy, but I still consider it as a squishy. And there are also water squishies, which are made from water. So for this video, it's not exactly going to be a squishy that you guys are used to seeing, but it's somewhat a squishy. For the materials, you'll be needing tape, and you could use any tape you want. You need stuffing, and finally you'll be needing some fabric paint, and you do need fabric paint because this dries on stretchy, so it will not crack, but if you use acrylic paint, it'll probably crack and create a mess. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing my tape, and I'm going to wrap it around the stuffing. And you want to try to make a bun shape out of it.
Hey guys! So finally, here's the much requested DIY squishy tutorial inspired by this viral phone case video. Making real squishies ended up being a lot trickier than I imagined, and you'll see all of my failed attempts in here as well. This method is very different to covering a sponge with fabric paint, since you can create extremely detailed shapes like this koala here. I also have a second tutorial coming up on how to make these amazing transparent squishies. That's going to be uploaded to my other channel, Cute Life Hacks, so please make sure you're subscribed to both. The secret behind making squishies is this product called Hito Hada Gel. After doing loads of research, I found that this is the only commercially available kit that lets you create your own DIY objects with a stretchy texture. It's normally only sold in Japan, but luckily the Etsy shop 1127 Handcrafter decided to stock this as well, so I've included all the shopping links below. Hito Hada Gel is basically a 2-part resin mixture, and it comes in 3 different types. The one you see here is used for making milky colored squishies. I love this little Hito Hada mascot, and you see him on the bottles as well, so you know which one is the base resin. The kawaii branding makes this product look deceptively cute and easy to use. However, I soon realized, and as you'll see in this video, that there's a very steep learning curve involved. But first, let's get back to the basics. To make a completely DIY squishy, first make a polymer clay your model of the shape you want. I'm not a huge fan of polymer clay, but unfortunately that's the only one that works here because it's a lot more.
Why is it up here? No more. We're done with that. No more.
And water resistant than paper clay. I'm making a fat koala, so I'm going to start out with 2 pieces like this for the head and body. I'm using the cat squishy as reference, so while I'm working, I'm just checking that everything is roughly the same size. When making duplicate shapes like arms, legs, or ears, always take a piece of clay first and divide that into half. This ensures that one side won't end up larger than the other and makes your sculpture look more symmetrical. If you're not happy with the size, then press both pieces together, remove some clay, and then divide it in half again. For the legs, I'm using 2 small triangular shapes, once again created from 1 piece of clay, so both are exactly the same size. To make ears, cut across one side with scissors so the edge fits perfectly along the head. This looks more professional than simply pressing on 2 round balls for ears. Once you're happy with the overall shape, take a toothpick and start smoothing down the edges. This step really makes a big difference, so spend as long as you can here, making sure that each part blends seamlessly into the next. And lastly, I'm making the nose using a tiny piece of flattened clay and then using a toothpick to smooth down the edges. You can also roll the toothpick across the surface like this to make sure everything looks smooth. Any imperfections in your clay will also end up on the squishy, so it's worth spending a bit more time to make sure everything looks good. And finally, just bake the clay according to packet instructions. Once this is hardened and cooled, we can now turn it into a squishy mold. I decided to sand the surface a bit using polishing pads, but this step is completely optional. The next thing I'm going to use is oyumaru. This is a thermoplastic material from Japan that can be used for sculpting and to create molds. I've also linked this below if you want to try it out. Oyumaru is very cheap and normally sold as a children's toy. All you have to do is fill a container with boiling water and drop the pieces inside. I guessed that I needed about 4 pieces to create a mold of the koala. After 3 minutes in hot water, the oyumaru will turn soft and gooey. You can now fish it out using a spoon and quickly press it over your model. Please take care not to burn your fingers during this part. Be sure to press the open edges slightly inwards so it picks up the full impression of your piece. Now leave it to cool completely, which takes about 5 minutes. Carefully pop it out and check if the mold looks good. If you notice any large gaps or creases inside, then you might have to remake it. The good thing about oyumaru is that in case you mess up your mold, you can always put it back into hot water and try again. I needed at least 2 attempts before I was able to make this koala mold. And now we can finally move on to the Hito Hada gel. This gel is fairly expensive and you don't get a lot of it, so you have to be extremely careful in measuring so you don't waste anything. The method I decided to use was to first fill the mold with water and then weigh out the liquid. This was easy using kitchen scales since you can grab any container and then pour the water inside. In this case, I needed exactly 20 grams of liquid to fill the koala mold. I decided to round this up to 24 grams because there's always going to be a bit of wastage from the stuff that gets stuck to the mixing cup or spoon. To make the milky squishy, it's best to use a number divisible by 4 because the resin needs to be mixed in a ratio of 3:1. So with a total of 24 grams, I need to use 18 grams of base resin, followed by 6 grams of hardener. I did warn you guys at the beginning that this DIY is not as easy as it appears. So first I measured out 18 grams of the milky colored squishy base. The instructions mention that if you want to add color, then you need to do it in the base resin, so I used a tiny bit of food coloring to make it pink. By the way, this resin has almost no smell at all, which is surprisingly nice. If you put your nose right up against the cup, then it smells very faintly like squishy foam. But while you're working, you won't notice anything, so this gel is quite pleasant to use. Now moving on to the next step. This bottle contains resin hardener, and it's smaller because of the 3-to-1 ratio of the two liquids. I very carefully added 6 grams of this to the mixture, so the total comes up to 24, which is exactly the amount needed to fill our koala squishy mold. Then I mixed everything together and poured it into the mold. Unfortunately, what I didn't realize at this point was that I'd already made 2 fatal mistakes, so there's no chance that this squishy was ever going to work. The first mistake was that I completely forgot to dry the mold after I filled it with water earlier on. In this shot, you can actually see the water bubbling to the top, and this is really bad because this type of resin is not supposed to come in contact with liquid. The second mistake was trying to add color, because even a tiny amount can have a big impact on how well the squishy sets. Under normal circumstances, Hito Hada gel cures after 24 hours at room temperature, so I left this in my office and I came back the next day. Right away, I realized that this didn't look good because it just felt far too sticky. I tried taking it out of the mold and it actually worked, but you can see it's pretty much a fail. The parts of the squishy that had contact with water didn't cure at all, and the remaining parts were just really sticky and gluey. Surprisingly, the texture does feel similar to a silicone squishy, but you definitely can't play with this. So I had to throw it out and try again. This time, I decided to make a second mold so I can make 2 squishies at once and test out which variables make a difference in the curing process. I'm using a 2-part silicone mold maker, which works a bit better than Oyumaru. The only downside is that this is more expensive and you can't reuse it in case you mess up. Start by mixing equal parts together, then create a smooth shape large enough for the piece you want to mold. Hold it upside down and press it downwards into the silicone. From my experience, this method works much better than placing silicone over your model because that tends to create a lot more air bubbles. Once you've pressed it inside, push the edges slightly inwards so it picks up all the details. After the mold has completely set, which should take about 15 minutes, pop it out and check that there are no air bubbles or creases inside. This one looks quite good. Now we're back to Hito Hada Gel Part 2. I'm going to make 1 squishy exactly according to package instructions, which means that nothing should go wrong. This time I also decided to use gloves because these bottles don't pour very easily, so you'll end up getting a lot of resin on your skin, which is not ideal. Just like before, I measured out 18 grams of base resin, followed by 6 grams of hardener. Then I mixed everything together and poured it into the mold. I'm still determined to make a pink koala squishy, so I thought I might be able to add color using powder pigments. I figured the first one might have failed because the food coloring was obviously water-based, so this time I'm just taking a soft pastel and scraping off some dust. You can also get special pigments designed just for resin, such as the ones I used in this video here. I'd recommend using those if possible because they dissolve a lot more easily and won't leave tiny flecks of color in your mixture. So in this case, I just mixed the pastel dust with base resin until I had a strawberry milk color. This time I made sure my mold was completely dry before I filled it up. It's not a bad idea to hold it in front of the hairdryer for a few seconds, just to make sure you get rid of all the moisture. And this is how they both looked the next day. The milky one looks fine, but the pink one is still very soft. It's not as bad as my first attempt, but it's still extremely sticky, which you can see here. I decided not to try taking this out and just leaving it for a few more days to see if anything improves. I'll post the update on Instagram, so please follow me there if you want to see how this turned out. At the time of uploading this video, the pink squishy is still in my office. I don't know myself what happened over the past few days. So after going through all this trouble with these squishies, I'm even more excited to see how this white one turned out. This one seems to have cured quite well and has a soft silicone-like texture. When removing your squishies from the mold, you have to peel them out extremely carefully because otherwise they can rip. Try to keep your fingers under the whole piece and gently lift it from the mold.
Detective, there's been a murder, and we need you on the case.
Here's the file. White man.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Macaroon. I'm Joanna, and in this video, I'm extremely DIYs using different crafting methods. If you're new here, then please remember to subscribe to Macaroon and Cute Life Hacks. For the first DIY, you'll need a soft-boiled egg, some spray paint, white craft glue,
Okay, this is our channel. Oh, musically. Start chat. What's your favorite season? Maybe you love July. If you're a video game, what type would it be? Probably party, because I'm bad at that. What's your favorite type of music? Thanks. What animal do you most like? Cat. It's Friday night. You are asleep. If you had 1 wish, what would it be? Money. What period should you have been born in? In words, describe your style. Glamorous. Which city would you like to move to? London. What do you look for most in a friend? Humor. What's your favorite color? Pink. No, go back. Blue. What's your favorite comedy? What sport are you best at? I'm good at none of these. I'll say basketball, I guess. What's the most important to you? Friends and family. What's your favorite hot drink? Tea. I don't want to continue. See how well I know myself. It's calculating answers. The screen just went black. 66. I know my percent. 66%. I know myself pretty well. I've been doing this for I have half an hour left to do this. So, today I'm testing out apps. How well do you know me? Not that accurate. I only know myself 66%. 66%. I don't really know me myself. I don't know 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 myself. What the heck? Work meter? Just 500. Oh my god. I don't know about what Broadway is. Come on, people. I've been doing this for an hour just for you guys. Half an hour, not a whole hour. Half an hour. No. Oh, Mo, I can't find it. Okay, hold on. My channel text. I'm gonna try to beat this. And what never asks questions but is often answered? Doorbell. What is easy to get into but hard to get out? Trouble. Trouble. It's supposed to be trouble. I am tall when I am young, and I am short when I am old. What am I? Candle. I got a notification. Camera club. No, it won't work. What has hands but cannot clap? Huh? Yeah. How many months have days? How many months have yeah. What is the end of a rainbow? W. Which weighs more? A kilo of feathers or a kilo of bricks? Neither. They weigh the same. Oh, yeah. What starts with the letter T is filled with T and ends in T? Starts with T, filled with T, and ends with T. What's... Oh, a teapot. I get it. What's full of holes but still holds water? Sponge. Stop. It won't. No, it won't work. Subscribe to me and go to channels and look for Amazing Pizza, okay? It won't whenever I type Amazing Pizza. It just shows videos of pizza. Oh. Whoa. It just shows me videos of pizza. It just shows. Ah, my God. I already got past. Wait. Wait, so those are... I want to unlock all of them. Doorbell.
Hi guys and welcome back to Macaroon. I'm
No, I
Joanna
have to
and in this
abandon
video
the
I'll show you
video.
3 extremely cute DIYs.
Wait, no, I don't. Because I can just click that. I can click my channel. And then I can just click screenshot. And then I can click this. And then I can click this. Or this, or this, or this. Oh yeah, that one. That one. Supposed to be amazing pizza. It's supposed to be amazing pizza. Amazing pizza. I'll change it to cats are awesome quick. So it is supposed to be amazing